I just want you to know that everyone on the board has a copy of both versions of the master plan as well as the trust board grant application. You do not have it, but I think you have them. I didn't email them to you, but I think you have them.
I have them. I don't have the trust board application, but that's okay.
Okay.
I probably have a copy somewhere on
Okay.
the computer.
Okay, I'd like to go ahead and call the Parks and Recreation Board Thursday, July 25th, 6 o'clock, call to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that. Do we have any public comment on any items not included on the agenda? We have no public present. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from July 1st, which are attached to your agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for July 1st meeting. Second.
Okay, do we have any discussion or any changes on the minutes? Okay. We have a motion and a second and no discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion, minutes are accepted. I'll go ahead and sign those off. Okay. I guess, Ms. Nicole Brown, you are up.
Yes, ma'am. Nicole Brown, Broadwater County Community Development Director and Planner. Just to catch you up on why I'm making this presentation. After the last meeting, where this Parks and Rec Board made a motion to move forward with the master plan for Centerville and Mill Road. Sorry, focusing on the Centerville and Mill Road property only. I made a phone call. I actually set up a Teams meeting with Jerry Gerbentz with Great West Engineering and Kevin Angland. They are the two consultants that we've worked with at Great West Engineering on multiple projects, but specifically for this project. And kind of explained to them, and Commissioner Rick Meyer and was on that meeting as well. We kind of explained to them where we were at, where staff was at, and where the board was at as far as our request moving forward for a master plan. Jerry Gerbentz is very familiar with all of the county properties. So, with that being said, the larger property, the on Canton Lane, as well as the Centerville Mill Road property. So he knew very well the differences between the two pieces of property, where they're at geographically, the topography of them. So we had this conversation on moving forward with a master plan for the Centerville and Mill Road property only, which is the roughly 10-acre piece. Through our discussion, Jerry and both Kevin stated that it would be well worth our time as staff and as a board to maybe reconsider a comprehensive plan, as in looking at both pieces of property, the Canton Lane property, which is the larger one, and the Centerville Mill Road property, which is the smaller one, the 10-acre. And through that conversation, Lindsay and I communicated to them that, the reason we wanted to start, and the board wanted to start on the Centerville property, was because it was a project that we felt we could start on relatively sooner, right? Given the constraints that we have on the Canton Lane property. So Jerry, while he understood that, he said, just because you're doing the master plan, the entire comprehensive master plan, doesn't mean you can't begin work on the Centerville Mill Road piece. Like, you don't have to say, here's our master plan, we have to work on it all at the same time. You can start work on the Centerville property. So, which leads me to where we are today. I have in front of you two exhibits, scope and schedule, they're titled. One is comprehensive park master plan, and one is Centerville Mill Road property park master plan. Just to give you an idea of essentially the scope of work and the cost. So looking through this, it appears I could only see one difference between the two plans. And that was the reviewing the results of the community survey on the comprehensive master plan. So it's 1, 2, 3, the fourth item down on the comprehensive park master plan document. So that would be the only extra step, if you will. The difference in cost, so for the comprehensive park master plan is $45,000. The Centerville Mill Road master plan would be $25,000. So $20,000 more, but we're getting the entire comprehensive master plan for all of the properties. Jerry and Kevin, specifically Kevin's concern, Kevin with Great West, his concern is if we did two separate master plans, we would lose the public's interest the second time around. I think everyone at this table has worked on government projects in some capacity, knowing all of your history, your work, and current work situations. So I tend to agree with them. If we start off with one master plan and we say, okay, we're only focusing on Centerville and Mill Road, the public hopefully shows up and gives us their comments. And then, we can move forward. But if we were to wait then a couple of years, say 5 years, and come back and say, okay, now we want to do a master plan on this piece, are we still going to have the public engaged? Or even 2 years, or, whatever the time frame is, if we're just throwing out 5 years. Would we still have the public engaged, or would they say, we already told you our comments, we're not going to give you our comments again? Because as you also know, you likely get the same players, the same people participating in these projects. So that was the big reason for for Jerry's suggestion, I should say, to move forward with the comprehensive master plan, is because you have greater public engagement for the whole project. You don't lose the public's interest. And we can still begin work on Centerville Mill Road piece. Just because you're doing the whole master plan doesn't mean you couldn't begin work on a different parcel. Or, you wouldn't have to begin work on all of the parcels at the same time, I guess is what I'm trying to communicate.
Nicole, can I jump in as well?
Of course you can. Yeah, please do.
I think too, I spent probably over an hour talking with Brad Peck, and I talked with Al Christopherson for a bit, and also the gentleman from baseball, just regarding everything as well. And I think the repeated sentiment was, why would you just do this small piece? Like, Brad actually very much surprised me and said, he goes, I was surprised there's only one field out there. If you're going to build one, why aren't there two? In fact, why aren't there four? And obviously, with rod and gun there, that's an issue, but I think he understands, like, for planning purposes, think big, think long term. I know John Wiley had the same sentiment as well, which was, you got to think further in the future. And I realized that nothing can really, there's a little bit of a holding pattern with stuff on that Canton and Delger property with the golf course and the baseball and anything. If it even turns out to be that, but that's okay. There's still a plan. It's not a legally binding document. It would still be just a guide. But at least it's something that's there that's able to, rather than kick a can, hand a plan to whoever's coming next. And it doesn't preclude us from, and I say us meaning the board, doesn't preclude the board from moving forward with anything on Centerville. That can go full bore ahead. You're just taking a little bit bigger scope. So the sentiment again was very strong that we should be looking at the full picture, not just Centerville. And I think all of the organizations would appreciate the feedback in the public process for that ground.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lindsay. Anything else, Nicole?
No, ma'am. No, really, I wanted to kind of let you know that that's why you have two bids, if you will, the scope of work and the price for each. And so that you didn't think that, that staff, myself or Lindsay, we weren't going against the wishes of this board. It was simply holistically part of the conversation with Great West Engineering.
We didn't have all the information
Right.
know at the time, so.
Yeah. Which is why they're consultants, right? I mean, they're there for us to bounce ideas off of. They've done this all over the state of Montana, Idaho, Washington. You know, they've done this before. So
My only question is, when you say we can move forward on the Centerville side, that's after the public meetings, after
Correct.
the master plan's done. It's not like
After it's approved by
after
the
it's approved.
commissioners.
Okay, just making sure.
That's my take. It's gotta be, the master plan needs to be approved by the commissioners.
correct. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, because they know.
We can start working on getting our ducks and getting folks together and doing cleanups and trails and that kind of stuff.
Because that essentially that's what Lindsay and I had communicated to Jerry and Kevin was that, you know, we really want to start, we want the master plan to be on Centerville and Mill Road for the reasons that this board stated at that meeting, that it's actually a more feasible piece of property to be able to move forward and do something with. Thus, the conversation started kind of the back and forth of, well, you still can. You know, that doesn't mean you can't begin your focus there.
I think too, like either way, like whether you're doing the master plan on Centerville or the whole thing, excuse me, it's still gonna be, you're still waiting through that process before you can get everything started. You're still having to go through the process one way or the other, so you might as well, I think that was the thought, like what Kevin was saying, get that public input for the whole thing, get it all there, and then Centerville is, you know, there too.
It's comprehensive,
Excuse me,
comprehensive.
move forward with, right?
And then,
So we're still looking at a 6 to 8 month time frame, 8 to 10?
You know, I noticed that was the one thing that was missing on here, was the time frame. Yeah, I don't think that the time frame would change at all, looking at these task items. And knowing with government, it takes long, again, as you all know, it takes long for a reason because of the public involvement. We want the public to participate. Meetings have to be noticed appropriately, you know, so it's not as if we could just check off through this list. We have to follow
Right.
the law. So, yeah, so I would say, while this does not identify a time frame, I had not heard anything different from Jerry or Kevin that it would go longer or take less time.
I think they said, I think your note had 8 months on it, something like that, when we talked about it the first time.
They were saying 6 to 8. They were giving us the 6 to 8 range.
And I think
either
regardless,
one of
yeah,
these.
regardless of whether it was the small one or the large one.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I would think it'd probably push the 8 with the larger one based on design. Okay. Do we have any comments or any questions for Lindsay or Nicole?
The only question I have is, did he say anything about how to handle, it's not really a legal matter, but, you know, with, Rod and Gun Club and their lease, and will the master plan be as though Rod and Gun Club exists as it does today, or will it be?
I think that one will get the public comment, and that will help to steer the commissioners or whoever the voting body of the next lease on, if the public wants the Rod and Gun Club there or not. I would think that's how it would.
I would agree, Mike. I would agree with you.
And to answer your question, he did not say. But that topic was never really discussed.
Yeah, I'm just curious, just because it is
That
kind
intensively,
of
mhm.
spatially, it is a, you know, obviously it's kind of big
Yeah.
sticking point, so I'm just
Mhm,
curious.
That's the same
what-
thing I was thinking,
Of what that,
but if the public doesn't want it, or however the public votes, or if we build the plan, that, like I said, it'll help guide the commissioners on, do we renew their lease or not?
Okay, all right. I will entertain a motion then, to move forward with the comprehensive, or with one of the master plans.
I have a motion that we present to the commissioners our decision to move forward with the comprehensive park master plan.
Second.
Okay. Do we have any further discussion on the comprehensive park master plan? With the motion?
Just maybe to add, another selling point for going with comprehensive is, you know, it's not gonna get any cheaper getting this stuff done. So getting it all done now would make sense too.
Yeah, if we had any other property, we could add to it maybe.
Well, we still have that acreage behind the Cedar dump site. It's just sitting there. But,
TJ wasn't too excited about the mention of static items right now.
I wouldn't think so.
No, not at all.
Okay, all right, we have a motion, we have a second, no further discussion. All those in favor of moving forward with the comprehensive park master plan at this time? Say aye.
Aye.
And unanimous decision. Thank you all. Okay, now that we've gotten that one, item 6 is to discuss the master plan presentation to the commissioners and then request their permission to apply for the trust board grant.
Madam Chair, I have information on that if you'd like me
Okay.
to speak to it. So I am scheduled to present this to the commissioners next Wednesday, July 31st at 10:05 a.m. And not this, I'm sorry, it does not say comprehensive master plan. That sounded like I was planning your vote. Just the master plan, I'm sorry. So I will let the commissioners know that this is the direction you are wanting to go. And so we will get, hopefully, I will be seeking their approval to move forward on the comprehensive master plan and applying to the trust board. So obviously, this board being a recommending board, the commissioners are the governing body. They are the ones who have the ultimate say on which master plan version, if you will, that we're going with. Likely, they will take your advice, but they have to they have to make the decision. So I'm just going to be presenting the two options to the commissioners and letting them know that the Parks and Rec Board recommends the comprehensive plan. And Dirk, I have your reasons noted too as far as the cost too. So I'll make sure I communicate that.
Okay, so we don't have a presentation to do to them.
No, you're of course welcome. You're of course welcome to attend. You know, commission meetings or public meetings, but I actually get paid to be here. So I know, right? I'm sorry.
Okay, so then you then ask them if we can apply for the trust board grant, and then we come back and, or do you need that grant done before you go through them?
Well, I think that the trust board grant is part of the agenda today, but it doesn't need to be done before I go to the commissioners because so
Okay.
likewise,
That takes a load off.
it does take a load off. The trust board is also a recommending board, right? While they are in charge of managing the trust funds, the commissioners have the ultimate say on how they expend those funds. So they're kind of lateral with us, the trust board is, to where, you know, the commissioners are going to see, okay, hey, this is the plan that the Parks and Rec Board wants, and our intention is to apply for this trust board grant. We put together the grant application, send it off to the trust board, and then if the trust board recommends approval, then it goes back to the commissioners and they approve. So they don't need to approve the application. Does that make sense? Because they're going to see it, hopefully. Anyway.
When is the trust board meet?
Linz, do you know that?
The trust board meets the 13th of August, and so I had said to Opera, and I think Jen, I know you were driving, so you might not have seen it, but that's a fairly quick turnaround because they do have to have the application 10 days in advance. So,
We are on a,
I mean, what's that, Mike?
we are on a short time frame to get this done, but we need to get it done sooner than later.
Well, I think what we can
Right,
do
but
is,
we could wait till September too. But it's up to you guys. I mean, it's totally up to you guys on how much work you think doing.
I'd rather not wait any longer, and I think if we just expand the one we already put in for the Centerville property and expand it, and the other part is the sponsors matching funds in both cash and in kind. And I do remember the comments that Al told me that the in-kind cannot be board meeting volunteerism. So,
Right.
I have something to add to that too, Madam Chair.
okay.
Which is, I think, good news. Part of my ask, I'm glad you brought that part up, the money part of it, will be when I go to the commissioners on Wednesday, I will figure out what the percentage is, and I will ask if the commission would consider taking it out of PILT. PILT is payment in lieu of taxes. So utilities, who else pays into PILT, Lindsay? I don't.
Hang on. That speaker. Who else pays
Who
into Pilt?
pays
Is that
into
what you
Pilt?
said?
Yeah, utilities and, anyway, it's payment in lieu of taxes. I don't remember, but essentially it's
Yeah,
this,
it's just money we get from federal land, basically,
Federal,
in
okay.
lieu of, because we can't collect tax on that federal property.
Federal,
We
okay.
get paid by the federal government for that property instead of being able to collect tax on it. So the commissioners have some discretion in how that money is spent.
perfect,
Does
thank
that
you.
answer your question?
Thank you, yes, I just couldn't remember where it came from, so, thank you. So I'm going to make the ask once I have the actual exact dollar amount, and I don't expect the commissioners to make a decision on this on Wednesday because, you know, while it is part of the master plan, they are going to be receiving that information cold. But I am going to make the ask on Wednesday that they pay X amount, whatever that X amount is. I'll work with Abra to find out what the percentage is now that I know comprehensive master plan, 45,000. Abra can tell me what the percentage, obviously I can come up with the dollar amount. I can make the ask to the commissioners that they would allow Parks and Rec to access PILT funds for that percentage.
And then I have one question for you. On the grant application, the last one we did, was it, the only reason it got denied was it wasn't crammed enough? Is that something I remember? Why didn't we get it last time around? Was that-
That was a little part of it, was that we weren't,
They wanted to go.
Something a little bit larger, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
so this would certainly fit that.
I think too, you didn't have an amount from Great West either. You didn't have a specific amount. You guesstimated the amount, but there was not a
Right.
specific, here's a quote from Great West.
We requested 20,000 for
Okay.
the trust board, and obviously they came in at 25 on this eventually, but I will use that as a basis. I mean, I've already got it in the computer, it's already formatted and everything else, so I'll use that as a basis. But the only thing is that, I mean, the project description, I guess, we're going with the comprehensive park master plan. There won't be any design, there won't be any vision necessarily. We have heard from certain stakeholder groups, large stakeholder groups, and, but it's not gonna be anywhere near as detailed or as visionary as the 10-acre one. Because we just don't have that for the big one.
I think that's a good thing, Jen. And please, anybody else correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they were a little bit leery of too much detail because they wanted that to come from the public process and the master plan process.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, and that, I mean, the input and guidance from the county residents about potential recreational improvements on all the properties.
Mhm.
So, okay. All right, then, let's see. There really isn't any decision on that one then. For item 6, the master plan presentation to commissioners.
No, Madam Chair, I'm sorry, excuse me. If you are okay with me making that presentation, and if you agree with basically what I've told you, that I'm going to present the two options with the Parks and Rec Board recommending comprehensive master plan, and we would like to request X amount of dollars out of PILT for our matching funds. But so you don't necessarily have to make a motion on that, but if you don't like it, tell me.
Nicole, what is the matching amount?
That
10%?
I have no idea, Linz. That's what I need to talk to Abra about. It's not in the grant application, and so I need to ask Abra what that percentage is.
Okay. I'll see while you guys talk, I'll see if I can find it on my
Awesome.
computer.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, so then, I guess all we need then is to make sure nobody has an issue with Nicole presenting that, and that will save me from having to come to another meeting.
You're always welcome to. We have them every day. Every day.
Every day, we live for it. Yeah. Living the dream. Meetings we are. Okay, well then let's go to item 7. The Trust Board Master Plan Grant Request Amount, Application, and Presentation. As I said, I've already got it templated on the computer. I can expand it, take out the designs, shoot it over for you for any comments. And,
Can I add one thing, Madam Chair? Just please, if you're commenting, don't reply all. Don't create a meeting. Reply to Jen because she's the one, or whomever is.
2 of us?
No, because 3 is a meeting.
Okay.
So Jen, if you send it, you can send it to all, as in this is information sharing, but reply only to Jen, please. Sorry.
Okay, that will do. So, master plan grant request amount, are we going to just go with the actual estimated overall cost, or are we going to, minus the?
Yeah, if it's 10, if I was thinking it was 10% also, so what is that, 4,500?
Yeah.
So,
4,500.
yeah, 41.5,
41.
41.5. And then ask for 4,500 out of PILT.
It would be 40500.
4,500.
Right.
Why is mathing hard?
45,000 minus
I-
the 450.
Yeah,
Or
40,500. 40,500.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. I almost used my calculator. Put your judgmental eyes away.
Would then use for the grant, the total project cost would be 45,000, and then we're asking them to fund the 4005.
Correct.
45,500. Okay. All righty. And we're looking at presenting that trust board on the 13th of August, correct?
And you have it to them 10 days before, so.
Right, I'll have to have it done before
It'll be
then.
next Tuesday. Because I'm assuming it's.
That's a fast turnaround, Jen. I mean, is everybody comfortable with that, or do you wanna take more time?
Well, 10 days ahead is Saturday, the 3rd of August. So I have all next week. Like you said, it's just basically turning it around, making it more generalized, putting a little bit of this information in it.
Is it business days or calendar days?
I was just gonna ask that
Today
too.
is the 25th. And
Because if it's business days, it'd be the 30th. If it's calendar days.
what did she say?
I'm gonna see if I can find it on the select board site.
Oh, I did find the percentage
Okay,
on here.
Submitted 10 days prior to their meeting, that's all it says.
Mhm.
Their August meeting will be on the
Third.
13th, I would need one to be sent electronically and 7 other copies. I think that's what it actually says on the grant, yes, that's on the verbiage for the grant. It doesn't say business days. 2 weeks prior to the established monthly meeting, project grant proposals must be submitted to the trust board secretary a minimum of 2 weeks prior to the established monthly meeting schedule. So yes, that would be
30th,
the 30th.
Yeah.
which is
30th,
Tuesday.
31st of July, yeah. Well, that's before the commissioners meeting,
Mhm.
so we can't,
We could have it typed up, read, well, I guess we couldn't submit it, yeah.
Yeah, if it's not.
So,
I think I mean, I know we're pushing hard. The timeline Nicole and I had kind of come up with for this whole process, regardless of which master plan, we were like, hey, October, like get stuff done by October kind of thing, because it's a quick turnaround. And I mean, it might be worth taking that extra time to just make sure you have that looking the way you want it. And, I mean, it might be worth,
so
I
does the
don't know,
trust
it's up to you,
board,
again, it's up to you guys, but.
Lindsay, does the trust board meet every 2 months, or they meet monthly?
No,
Monthly.
they can meet monthly, but sometimes they'll cancel, there's nothing on the agenda. If this is on an agenda, they'll meet.
So if we have it on the agenda for September, then that gives us an extra month to wait and see what the commissioners say, and see what we can do, put it all together,
Yep.
have
Yes.
comments, and give everybody review
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're not rushed.
Okay,
Yeah, we're looking at it. That sounds like a better idea.
okay, can we shoot for the September board, and I think that is probably, if she's got one on the 13th.
It's probably the second week. I do. It looks like September
Oh, that's
10th.
my calendar.
September 10th.
September 10th?
Mm-hmm. So if we aimed
Yeah,
for like
September 10th,
mid-August.
11:30.
Okay, then
I think that's a good idea, a good idea, Jen, because then, I mean, Parks and Rec will meet one more time before then too, and everybody will have a chance to kind of look at that.
Okay, and of course I leave September 9th, and I'm gone for another week. Come back 3 days, and then I'm gone to Glacier for the Waterton Glacier Assembly. How confident would you be?
I can prove that to the trust board. I mean, if
Let's
it's,
see.
if it's everyone's comments, it's not my own presentation. Yeah, I could do it.
Okay. All right, let's shoot for the September 10th, and I'll go ahead and get a draft together and I'll send it out to everyone. And then if you can just definitely as a presenter, let me know your any serious comments you might have for presenting to.
And Nicole, and I did just see that, on the general grant guidelines, it says 30% match on that second page.
Likes to see at least a 30% match in that.
So, hopefully that, and that's a chunk, but we'll see.
It's worth the
What is
ask.
that, 13.5?
I had to use my calculator. How did you do that in your head? I'm so proud of you.
Engineering.
Okay.
Okay, so. if we
Yeah, it is 13.5,
Yeah,
yeah.
13.5.
And so we're asking for 31.5. But again, I mean, it's asking, right? You don't know the answer if you don't ask the question. And we still do have money in the Parks and Rec fund, and so, you know, if it came down to it, if we had to use that, it was just an option that was actually I didn't think of this, that it was brought to me that maybe PILT funds. So.
Okay, and if the commissioners should come back and say, well, how about maybe half of the Parks and Rec and half of the bill?
I'm not going to suggest that to the commissioners, so Lindsay, plug your ears.
Okay, all right, so then,
I didn't hear anything.
Okay, good.
What you're talking about.
okay, if you have any questions on anything, let me know. Let's go ahead with number 7 then. Trust Board Master Plan Grant request amount will be $31,500. The application, I will go ahead and put that together this next week and shoot out drafts to all of you. Nicole, would you like a draft?
Please, yeah,
Okay.
that would be nice.
And then Lacey will go ahead and do the presentation on the 10th.
And you can still make your, sorry, I don't mean to talk out of order here, but you can still make your comments to Jen, you know, if you find something before the meeting that you have as a comment, and then Jen can kind of bundle those comments and bring them, or you can just, you know, I think this actually gives you a better opportunity too to make a motion at the next Parks and Rec Board meeting that we would like to take this grant application forward. We are satisfied with the application. So I like that you're waiting till September too. That does give that.
Okay. Do we have anything else to discuss on that one then? Okay, I will go ahead
Excuse me.
and start working on it. Obviously, we're not gonna go forward with any draft or anything until we get the approval from the commissioners next week. Okay? But I will go ahead and put the grant application together as a draft and wait for their approval. And then I'll send it out. All right. Do we have any new business to discuss?
So we need to look to fill our empty space, our empty seat.
Yes, we need to look to fill Mr. Bill Dewey's position.
Lindsay, was that advertised?
Yes, yes, we put it in the paper. I think it needs to be a little more specific. I do have one person in mind. She was going to attend tonight, but couldn't make it at 6, and she's gonna listen to the meeting, after the fact. But I'm hoping she'll apply, but, yes, anybody who would like to apply can. They just put it in the paper, and I think we have it on the website as well. So feel free to tell people.
All right, thank you for that.
And when is
Yeah.
that expiration if we receive applicants?
So we got some feedback from Corey this past week that technically with all the boards, unless it is a new board, every term should be 3 years. Because when it's a new board that's created, terms are staggered, like 1, 2, and 3, and then it's 3 years from there on out, so everyone would technically stay staggered. However, that's been kind of wonky, so we have to look back and see what Bill's term was. I don't remember, I need to go look at the,
It was December 31st of 2026.
what was that, Nicole?
December 31st of 2026.
Okay, so whoever would fill that spot would be done in the end of 26.
I'm sorry, I meant when would the advertisement be closed?
Oh.
Yeah. Like,
Sorry,
no.
I don't think it's necessarily closed. I think that we're gonna advertise at the minimum 30 days, or the recommended 30 days, we have to have it open. And from there, it's not really advertised, it'll just be kind of mentioned or listed online as a board opening.
Unless someone applies, it doesn't close.
Madam Chair.
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
Unless someone applies, it doesn't close.
Correct,
Right, it remains an open board position.
Thank you.
correct.
But we can't fill it within 30 days. Madam Chair, can I ask Daleen Hanson a question? She's the one who posts the board postings.
Okay.
Daleen, do you know when that advertisement when it was run in the paper? I'm putting you on the spot here.
When did Bill submit his letter? Do you remember that date?
The day after the last Parks and Rec meeting. I just want to know when the 30 days closes is what I'm.
So, what was the
The
day?
16th would have been the day.
That he submitted his letter, right? Because we had the meeting on the 15th,
So it
16th.
would have been submitted the 22nd, so to run the 26th.
Okay.
It has to be in by Monday evening at 5 or Tuesday at.
So it'll run tomorrow,
Yes,
the
tomorrow.
26th. Okay,
Sure.
perfect. So 30 days from then. So the position cannot be filled until August 26th. Okay. But anybody can apply at any time. The commissioners just can't make a decision until August 26th. Okay. So it likely will be on the commission agenda if we have applicants for August 28th.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daleen.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, do we have any other new business? We don't have anything lingering out there from the porta potty or the pit toilet, sorry, the vault toilet.
It's an SST, a sweet smelling toilet.
I'm sorry, right, sweet smelling toilet, yes.
I
And
can't
also
believe you
purdy
can call it a
one.
porta potty, Jen.
I just cringe every time I go over to Centennial Park in Helena and see the porta potties actually tied and locked to the trees because they were blowing over in the winds. Horrendous, because their vault toilet sunk and they had
Oh, no.
closed it, so. Anyway, okay, so the vault toilet is on hold until next spring and there's no other place we're gonna put it or anything for now. Okay.
Oh, ma'am.
Any comments from the floor? Negative?
I have one comment for everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
Just thank you again for everyone putting in lots of extra time on this and everybody's patience and just willingness to like kind of keep moving forward. I know it's a slow process, so thank you.
You're welcome. It's government.
It is. Yeah.
Job security.
That's right.
Totally.
When we reach the 10-year mark, then I'm gonna start really complaining. I'm only halfway there right now.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Our next meeting then is scheduled for Monday, August 19th. I've got to check. My calendar is super busy because of trips. August 19th. Hey, you hit a week I'm actually in town. Great. All right. August 19th, 2024, 6 p.m. And you know what? This is probably the earliest I've ever adjourned a meeting in this.
I know.
Not that I'm shooting for that, believe me, I do respect all of your time, I really do, and I try to
Awesome. Thank you all.
Lindsay.